أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين سيدنا ونبينا وشفي ذنوبنا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرضين بأبي القاسم المصطفى محمد ثم الصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم وغاصب حقوقهم من الأولين والآخرين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وكلامه الكريم وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لكي لا تعسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Our congregation this evening is to commemorate the death anniversary of that personality, that Sibte Akbar, the great grandson, the older grandson of Rasulullah, known as Hassan, that the Prophet himself is quoted to have said that Innal Hasana hadiyatu min Rabbil Alameen, which means that Hassan is a gift from us, from the Lord of the universe. Abu Huraira says that whenever I see those alleys of Medina, if I walked in those alleys of Medina, I would remember that scenario, that scene of Rasulullah kissing his grandson Hassan. He would kiss his lips and he would utter this statement that Innal Hasana hadiyatum min Rabbil Alameen, which means that Hassan is a gift from the Lord of the universe to us. The kamal and the climax of the characters of a person lies upon the praises of the enemy. When the enemy praises you, it is kamal indeed, it is climax, because friends will praise you anyway. But if the enemies praise you, then this is kamal. You will find that Marwan is quoted to have said, when he was seen in the funeral of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, not only that he participated in the funeral of Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam, but you will see Marwan was under the coffin of Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam. And when people raise this question that, oh Marwan, you and participating in the funeral of Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam, and that also that you are under the coffin of Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam, you know what did he reply? He said, why shouldn't I participate in the funeral of that personality who was Kuh Sabr, who was the mountain of passions? Yani Marwan, being the enemy of Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam, is praising Imam Hassan alayhi salam. You will find that Abdullah bin Zubair is quoted to have said, who is also the enemy of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. He says that Madarha ajiz shudand ke bachha beawarand bachha bezayand misle Hassan. Women of the universe have become helpless to deliver babies like Hassan. No one can match Hassan. Hassan is matchless. These are the enemies of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. They are praising Imam Hassan alayhi salam. The lesson which we can learn from the life of Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam is Zuhud. And what is Zuhud? According to Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahjul Balagha, when he was asked about Zuhud, Imam says that if you want to learn Zuhud, then the totality of Zuhud lies in this Quranic verse of Surah Hadid, chapter number 57, verse number 23. Quran says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لِكَيْ لَا تَعْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ وَاللَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. Quran says, and that you may not be grieved when something escapes you, and neither be nor be exultant. Do not be over happy if something good comes across you, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love any arrogant boaster. Yani zuhud, Imam Ali alayhi, this is the verse of Quran. Imam Ali alayhi salam says in Najm al-Balagha that if you want to know about zuhud, then this is zuhud, which means that do not become very happy when you do not be exultant when something good comes across you, and do not be very much grieved if you lose anything, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love any arrogant boaster. Many a times we think that happiness lies in great palaces. Many a times we think that happiness and comfort and tranquility lies in money and in wealth and in bungalow, in huge palaces. But if you ask Quran Majid, Quran says that if you want tranquility, then happiness and tranquility and comfort lies in dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'inna al-qulub. If you want tatma'inna qulub, itminan qalb, if you want your hearts to be at rest, then have remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will find Imam Khomeini rahimallahu alayh, when he came to Iran, when he was expelled to Turkey and Paris, and when the Iranians told him that come back, we will support you. And when he was asked that what is your feeling when he was interviewed, he said that my heart is at rest. The bodyguards were worried who were besides him, but he says my heart is at rest. Then Imam Khomeini gives a lesson. He says that make your heart like that vessel, like that utensil which floats on the water, which doesn't sink in the water. It floats on the water. Make your heart such. And the ulama of akhlaq are teaching us that your hearts should be such. They should be like boats which floats on the water. These hearts should be such. And do not allow that love of this world should penetrate in your hearts. What will happen if water penetrates in the boat? The boat will sink. Same applies to our hearts. Let our hearts be like those boats which sink, which floats and which doesn't sink. If love of this world enters in, the hearts will sink. And where will we get this? Where will we get this tranquility and comfort? We'll get from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'inna al-qulub. You'll find this Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, has explained beautifully. He's explained in such a way to some people, zuhud, simplicity, or he has explained that do not become over happy when something good comes across you. Do not be grieved when you lose something. He explained in such a good way that you will find in his time, when he was gathered by companions, one of the companions started speaking of gold. You know, people have got hirs or greed of different things. He had greed of gold. One of the Urdu poet has said that people think that money lies in gold, while gold lies in our feet. It is very true. Sona hamare thokar pe hai. It lies in our feet. Because you dig, then you get gold. When he was talking of gold, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba explained him that it is not good to be greed of gold. It's not good to be greedy. When he explained him, he didn't understand. There are some people after explaining also, they don't understand. Imam al-Mujtaba told him, they just think that the gold of whole universe has come in your custody. What will happen to you? What have you achieved? What have you attained? Nothing. Then Imam tells him See the lesson of Imam. And this is the message for tonight's Majlis. Imam tells him that better go behind those things which will become part of you, which cannot be separated from you. Like taqwa, Imam tells him piety. Piety can never be separated from you, even if you die. Imam tells him, why don't you go behind knowledge? Attain knowledge, acquire ilm. It can never be separated from you, even if you die. It will be juz of your zat. It will be part of you. And no one can snatch it. No one can usurp it. It will be part of you. Why don't you go behind those things which can be part of you? Do not go behind those things which doesn't have material things, which you think zahiran that it has got comfort, but it doesn't have comfort. Remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has comfort. You'll find that in his time, once the enemies of Ahlul Bayt, they tried their level best. They tried to snatch the ilm of Imam, our Immas. They tried to snatch the akhlaq of our Immas. They tried to snatch the power. They could get the power, the throne, but their hands did not reach at the ilm and at the akhlaq of our Immas. At the ilm of our Immas. That Muawiyah mal'un alayhi al-hawiya la'natullah alayhi. Once he says to Imam Hassan alayhi salam that, oh Hassan, your grandfather Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam when he would see the dead palm tree, he would foretell that how many dates are there, how many dates would that tree carry. This he could foretell. Do you have such knowledge? Imam Mujtaba says, then he continues, Muawiyah. He says, because your followers and your Shias, your lovers, they praise you and they do say that you have got the knowledge of this earth and the heavens. Then have you inherited this ilm of your grandfather? Imam Mujtaba replies that, do you want me to tell you how many dates is this tree having? He says, yes, for sure. Imam Mujtaba says, by looking at the tree of that date palm tree, Imam says that these dates carry 4,004 dates. This narration is there in Biharul Anwar of Allama Majlisi, rahimahullah alayhi. Muawiyah alayhi al-Hawiya commanded that the dates should be plucked from the tree and it should be counted, that how many dates are there. When it was counted, the slave says that, oh Muawiyah, there are 4,003 dates. Imam Mujtaba says that, oh Muawiyah, tell your servants that one date, one of this servant of yours has hidden inside his palm. And do you want me to tell you that which servant of yours has hidden that date? That is Abdullah bin Amir. He has hidden inside his palm one date. This was the ilm of Imam. Comfort, tranquility lies in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Lies in these things, in zuhud, in ilm, in taqwa. And that is why you will find that after the death of Imam Ali alayhi salam, when Ibn Abbas went to Misr, and when he went to visit Amr As, it was the Eid night. When Amr As in Misr, he was on his deathbed. He was lying, he was dying, he was on his deathbed. He was 90 years of age. Amr As, that cunning politician. 43 after Hijrah, just 3 years after the death of Amirul Mu'minin. When Ibn Abbas says, I went to visit Amr As, he was lying on his deathbed, weeping, crying. And he says that, oh Ibn Abbas, can you do me a favor? How can I help you? He says, idfaw anni al-maut. Do something that save me from death. Ibn Abbas says, how can I save you from death? He says that, I wish if I could have made my akhirah. I wish if I would have not spoiled my akhirah. For this throne, what I didn't do. I did everything to attain this throne, to attain this power. But now I can feel that I'm going to die. And I'm going to leave this throne. I wish if I could have made my akhirah. By saying this, he says, Sadaqa Ali ibn Abi Talib. Rahima Ali ibn Abi Talib. Truth, Ali ibn Abi Talib said the truth. May peace be on Ali ibn Abi Talib. I wish if I would have followed him. But when he said it was too late, when he was 90 years of age, he was on his deathbed. The lesson which we can gain from the lives of our Aimmas, especially Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, is to go behind taqwa, to go behind ilm, to go behind remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is where you will get that comfort and tranquility. These zahiri things, adornment of this world, and you will find in history, many people were attracted towards the adornment of this world. What happened? After 100 years, all of us are not there. We are not in this world. Definitely. After 100 years, we have lost our lives. This is what our imams have taught us. That go behind those things which will stay forever and ever. And Joda bint Ash'as was attracted towards milkiyat of Yazid. She was attracted towards being the queen and the wife of Yazid. She was offered that bribe by Muawiyah that we will give you 100,000 dirhams, O Joda, and you will be the wife of Yazid if you poison Hassan ibn Ali. Now that is the time, it's a very critical time when a person has to choose akhirah and dunya. She chose dunya. And she agreed. She was the wife of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. But she agreed to poison Imam Hassan alayhi salam. And what happened? Yazid did not marry her. When Yazid was asked, when Muawiyah was asked, Muawiyah said that you did not leave the grandson of Rasulullah. Will you leave my son? Muawiyah refused. He said that I won't allow you to get married to my son Yazid. She did not attain anything. She went behind dunya. And when she was given this money, when she was given this offer to poison Imam Hassan alayhi salam, it is said that it was in summer. It was very hot. Other riwayah says that Imam Hassan alayhi salam would fast on those days. It was very hot. And when a person wants to break his fast, the first thing is that he needs water, because if there are long days and if it's very hot, Imam Hassan alayhi salam says to his wife that I feel thirsty. Can you give me something to drink? She presents water at the presence of Imam. She presents milk at the presence of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. But which kind of milk it was? It was mixed with poison. When Imam takes that milk, after having that milk, that poison affected him so much, that it was so effective, his color changed. And he survived only 10 days after having that milk. And when the companions would come to see him, to visit him for ayadat, and they would see his situation, his position, they would tell him that, oh, Yabna Rasulullah, should we call tabib? Should we call a doctor so that he may treat you? Imam al-Mujtaba would reply to those companions that the poison which I am given is very strong. It won't help anything. And this is not the first time the attempt is made. This is third time the attempt is made to poison me. And it is said the time came that Bibi Zainab Kubra alayha salam came to visit the brother. That oppressed lady. In Medina she sees her brother. That when she brings a utensil, a vessel, after having that poison, when Imam al-Mujtaba wants to vomit, and when he vomits, can you imagine that oppressed lady? She saw with her own eyes that Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when he vomits, together with blood, the pieces of liver came to his mouth. It fell into the vessel, into that utensil. That oppressed lady Zainab, in Medina, she sees her brother in this situation. In Karbala, she sees Husayn being butchered, being slaughtered. She sees with her own eyes. After that, when Imam Husayn alayhi salam comes to visit the brother, when he hugs his brother, when he hugs Imam al-Mujtaba, Imam says to his brother that, Ya Aba Abdullah, la yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. This day is better. It won't be like Ashura. Oh my brother, you are going to face tough time in Ashura. Then Imam al-Mujtaba alayhi salam says to his brother that you carry my bed towards courtyard. And then he starts to do wasiyah on the courtyard. He says his wasiyah. From those wasiyah, one wasiyat he says that I wish that I should be buried besides my grandfather Rasulullah. But if the enemies deny and refute, then you do not fight. Do not lift your swords. But history tells us that after him being given ghusl, when the coffin was lifted, in the funeral, when the coffin was taken towards Jannat, towards Medina Munawwar, towards Masjidun Nabawi, when the coffin was taken towards Masjidun Nabawi, Ale Marwan came and they said that Hassan cannot be buried besides his grandfather. The youths of Bani Hashim lifted their swords. They became angry. Imam Husayn alayhi salam said that this is the wasiyah of my brother, that you do not fight, return your swords. Then Imam Husayn alayhi salam says to them that, O Ale Marwan, O Bani Umayyah, I'm helpless and I'm majboor. My hands are tied because of the wasiyah of my brother. I would say, oh Husayn ibn Ali alayhi salam, here your hands are tied because of the wasiyah of your brother, because your brother Hassan al-Mujtaba had done wasiyah that do not fight if they refute me to be buried besides my grandfather. There is another scenario. Your son Sayyid Sajjad, his hands were tied when he was leaving Karbala, when he saw his father's corpse. Arrows were showered on his corpse. And he says to his aunt Zainab that, oh Aunt Zainab, we are leaving my father's corpse. I cannot even bury him. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رضا بقضائه وتسليما لأمره.